So, as a medium, sometimes I have spirits that show up and give me information, whether that's for somebody I'm doing a reading for or just hanging out by myself here at home. And this week, I had a spirit come through and give me a message that I wasn't sure who it was for, but I'm going to share it here because I think the message is an overall one that a lot of people would benefit from hearing. So, stay tuned and I will deliver that message for you. Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self-sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life. Welcome back. My name's Angie, and I'm your Soul Alignment Mentor, bringing you intuitive messages from my spirit team to help you align with your most authentic and highest self. So the other night, I was sitting in my house here, probably meditating or maybe even just watching a movie, and I had a spirit show up and say to me, "Let them know that it's okay." And I was a little confused. I'm like, okay, who am I letting know it's okay? And what am I supposed to say? And then I heard, it's okay that they're not there. It's okay if they didn't make it. And then it started dawning on me that the spirit was actually saying that someone did not make it to someone's bedside before they transitioned or passed, or maybe it was involved with something with somebody passing and moving to the other side, leaving their human life. And so I got curious and I was thinking about my own experiences with my own dad, who I lost to cancer 4 years ago, and how I was standing right beside him when he transitioned in the spirit. Since that moment, he has come back to visit me multiple times. He's actually one of my spirit guides now and explained to me what the process has been like for him leaving his human life to transition into being a spirit again. What we sometimes don't realize is that the form in which we were before we came into being our human is the same form that we return to. And even while we're human, we are that energy. We are just disconnected from the truth of it because our human ego and mind tend to block out or put a veil over our ability to connect with this true part of ourselves. We are all divine, eternal beings who never end. And so my dad explained to me this as he was going through his process of shifting into the higher dimensions and leaving his human experience behind. He explained to me the process of his own life review and how he was taking on the role of being my guide and why he was doing that and things like that. And so it was really interesting to learn from my own father what it's like on the other side for spirits when I'm also a spirit and I will be experiencing that as well. And so, or basically, I have before. Let me just add that into, and it's not something that I won't experience again. So, what is interesting about this is the spirit that came through and was talking to me about the fact that it was okay that someone didn't make it to their bedside had me thinking about what it was like for my dad in that moment that he transitioned. And the spirit that came through also confirmed the same thing that my dad had been saying to me. And that moment that we have with a loved one prior to them transitioning isn't necessarily for the person transitioning, is for us, is for those of us who remain a human. And when we transition back into spirit, we let go of all the pain, all the shame, all the guilt, all the things that we humans hold on to so tightly. All of it goes away. And we go into this space of peace and fullness and love and feeling complete within ourselves. Here as humans, we are constantly trying to figure out how to be better, or how to prove ourselves, or how to earn something, or how to gain worthiness in some kind of way. And oftentimes, the way that we do that is through trying to show up in a way for other people or even ourselves that gives us the ability to see ourselves as worthy, or as having um, something to offer to the world around us. And in this experience that I had with the spirit, what they directly said to me was, when we transition back into our higher self, into our oversoul, into our spirit, the least of our worries, the least thing on our mind, the thing that we are not focused on, is who showed up for us and who didn't. Because when we go back to the other side and we are transitioned back into our original form as a spirit, the only thing that matters on the other side is love. And so when a spirit goes through this transition and they're on the other side, they're looking at you and everyone else in their life that they've had contact with, or even brief moments with, in complete love. They will review their entire life looking at it from the perspective of themselves as that human that they were, and the perspective of the other people or even beings that they had contact with while they were a human. And the one thing on their mind, or what we would consider the mind, or in their understanding, consciousness, is the exchange of love. The moments that they had love towards others and themselves. And so the spirit was explaining to me that it is okay to want to be there with them when they transition. And that can be peaceful for both parties, for the person transitioning and for the person losing somebody here on earth. But if you're not able to make it to that moment, it is still okay, because it is the least of the worries of that spirit or that person that transitioned, out of all the things that they're going to review their life over. And so I believe the spirit gave me this message to provide it to whoever needs it at this time, to find peace in knowing that there's no reason to hold on to guilt or shame, or feeling like you let somebody down because you weren't able to be something for them or show up in a certain way when you wanted to. Because sometimes life happens, or we're prevented from being somewhere that we want to be at the time that we need to be there. And we could hold that guilt and shame in our own body, which causes sickness for us. And when we hold on to guilt and shame in our body, that manifests into other things that disconnect us from our true self, from our soul, from our spirit. And so the spirit that was coming to me to share this message wanted to assure us humans that it is okay to have these desires to be present, and it is okay to have these wants to kind of show up in a way that makes you feel good about the way you showed up. But from the spirit's perspective, that is the least of their concerns. Once they transition out of the human experience into back into spirit form, the only thing that matters on that side is love. And that love is also towards you. Now, as I'm speaking this out, I'm sensing and feeling more messages come through. So I'm going to go ahead and deliver those while I'm here. And I'm feeling a spirit wanting to come through, talking about how some of us might have experiences with other humans that were not positive or caused a lot of pain for us. And what about them? do they feel love towards us? Or where do we, fit into that picture? And I want to assure you that once any human transitions back into spirit, that is the one concern that they have, is love, because that is all there is on the other side. The pain and the suffering and the abuse and the trauma and all the experiences that we have as humans are not being carried over with us into that experience. However, what is carried over is the awareness of how those behaviors and actions impacted those here on earth. And many times when I do a reading with somebody, the message that comes through is, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And an acknowledgement of the pain and hurt that they left behind with that human. Now, on the other end of it, here on earth, what is hard for us is to work through that pain and work through the experience of what they caused us. And sometimes we talk about forgiveness, which is very, very difficult to do when you have been hurt by somebody. And something that we're not aware of is that forgiveness is a form of letting go of pain and releasing the karmic cycles that have been pulled into our energetic body here on earth. And the karma of the pain is what continues to manifest into our experience the more we hold on to it. So even though it may feel like we're letting someone off the hook, or they're getting off the hook for what they did to us or how they hurt us, they're not necessarily. They are experiencing that pain for themselves that they caused you on the other side. They will feel every feeling that they caused you to feel when they go through their life review. And that's why some of the spirits choose to continue to come back to earth to try to do it again, to try to make it right. Not necessarily make it right, but have a new experience, to continue to grow in the energy of love. That is the whole purpose of this experience that we have in the universe as a spirit and as a human and any other being that our spirit might choose to be. It's all for the purpose of expanding and growing in the energy of love, which as a human, we cannot fully comprehend what that is. I've only gotten small glimpses in my meditations and my astro travel and out of body experiences of what that love feels like. And there is no words within the human experience that can actually describe what it feels like. It is beyond overwhelming for us and our human ego to comprehend. And so as I deliver this message to you, I know that this can be hard to hear because I have had to hear it myself. But I can promise you, by releasing and overcoming and healing and by forgiving, that it benefits you more than you probably realize. And it also helps break the karmic cycle that has been going through your family bloodline. What we don't realize is when we heal, we also heal for many generations behind us and before us. So if you're here working through some kind of trauma or karmic cycles or something that's been passed down through many lineages of your own family, and you feel as if you're taking all this pain on to yourself, that is because you're here to break the cycles. Now, I'm being brought back by this spirit to give the reminder of the presence of you being with somebody before they transition, and how that is the least of the concerns of the spirit that transitions, and how that spirit, no matter what kind of relationship you had with them here on earth, is always going to be looking at you in love. It is just on our end that we struggle to receive that. because of the experiences that we've had sometimes, or the guilt and shame that we might be holding on to because we didn't live up to something or we didn't make it to something that we wanted to. So I don't know who this is for or if this is even helpful for anybody. I would love for you to leave a comment below and let me know. And when I get some more messages, I will bring them to you. I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all a universal love. Namaste.